I am Klaus Michelson! Klaus Michelson!
The great evil.
Hello and welcome to today's video, in which we are deciphering why exactly is Klaus Michelson the most feared vampire in history. For someone to be so bad that he has a whole book written about him literally titled Klaus Michelson the Great Evil, something must have really went wrong. So we're going to be exploring the intriguing history on what exactly made Klaus, well, Klaus. And obviously to do this we have to start from the very beginning.
Foolish girl, you knew the bargain you made. And should you defy me, then I will take all your children, including little Finn, even unborn Elijah.
No, Dahlia. No.
No, Dahlia.
I know you're wondering, what exactly does a 5-year-old Freya being given away to Dahlia has anything to do with Klaus because he wasn't born yet? And this is mainly because this is a very important event to why Klaus was raised how he was raised, as in why Michael treated Klaus the way that he did. The way that Freya describes Michael isn't the same way how the rest of her siblings does, because the way Freya describes him as kind, caring and loving is not shared by any other sibling. And it's mainly because those aspects of Michael died the very moment that he assumed Freya died. Now that's set up, let's talk about Klaus and Michael's relationship before he became a vampire.
Encourage him, Elijah. But he grows more pathetic every day.
I'm not pathetic.
Do not talk back to me. You're not man enough to hold this weapon. If you can't hunt, you're nothing but a burden.
I'm sorry.
It's a shame we can't feed on sad-eyed apologies. It's your one and only skill.
Father, stop!
Stay back, or you'll be next. The boy needs to be made strong.
This is the most obvious one, and is usually the one that a lot of people actually cite as the reason why Klaus is the way that he actually was when we met him. And this is mainly on the notion that Klaus inflicts abuse on others based on the fact that Michael himself physically abused him. And Michael beat him a lot. Even at one point, Michael nearly killed him, as in Michael stabbed him in the chest and mounted him on a tree and left him for dead. However, why did Michael actually do that to Klaus? Well, the reasoning that the show actually gave was, well, he had no reasoning. But the actual reasoning that is heavily implied is because he viewed Klaus as weak, basically. And what was explicitly not stated in the show, and Freya being taken away by Dahlia actually being linked to why Klaus was treated the way that he was because Michael actually turned his hatred and his anger on Klaus from what actually happened to Freya. And this is mainly because Klaus gave him a reason, which was he was weak, and he just latched onto that and just used it as an excuse to physically harm him. However, yes, although Michael was a major culprit on why Klaus actually became what he became, but a more underlying factor, and in my opinion a more important factor, is actually Esther. In the original season 2, we discovered just how important of a role Esther actually played in Klaus's upbringing and why it was so bad.
Spell to protect me.
Promise me you will wear it always.
It made me weak.
I sought to protect you from yourself. If you would have killed your father in that duel or anyone else over the course of your life, you would have activated your curse.
You ruined me. You left me to suffer at the hands of a father who valued only strength.
I kept you from becoming a beast for as long as I possibly could.
Oh, you lied to me! To hide your own transgressions because of your own fear! My whole life, I sought the approval I was denied by the man I thought was my father. You turned me into the weakling he hated! Look at me! You rant and you rage about the monster I have become, but you, Mother, you are the author of everything I am.
This is very important because I don't think Michael would have been that reactive to Klaus if we didn't actually believe that Klaus was too weak. And this was all because of Esther and her inability to actually confront her own problems, as in her own actions, issues that her herself created. Remember just how powerful of a witch Esther actually is. Esther is one of the most powerful witches of all time. And Esther at this point in time could have easily one-shot Michael because Michael was still a human. But yeah, she never did. She sees Michael violently beating Klaus. she does nothing. She was more concerned about her secret being leaked and Michael ultimately turning her back on her or trying to kill her than actually protecting her own son. So yeah, the blame of Klaus's harsh upbringing shouldn't be entirely put on just Michael. Esther plays just as much, if not more, of a bigger role than Michael actually did. But Klaus wasn't the evil, vindictive, psychotic, maniacal killer that he actually became yet. As in, that happened after he became a vampire. And this was when he felt abandoned and unwanted again.
He does not deserve your love. Listen to me. You must only see him as the wretched, deceitful monster that he truly is.
I see him as the monster that he is.
By the way that they actually show Klaus acting in Southern France in the Court of the Day Mortels, I don't think Klaus was just as dark as he actually was much later on. He was more so just as violent as possibly Elijah. Although yes, Klaus was still a bloodthirsty vampire, but he was just as an average vampire like how any other vampire actually is when they just turned. He wasn't no Carl Michelson at this point. That happened after Elijah did what he did, which was to compel Aurora to leave Klaus and actually tell him that she never really loved him and tell him that he was a monster. I think anyone else would have actually taken it, but for someone like Klaus who has been abandoned all his life and he's consistently been singled out by Michael of all people and all of them there know, Klaus would have definitely taken it badly, because the one thing that plagues Klaus's life for pretty much his entire life was his fear of abandonment. And it's made even worse when somebody belittles him and make him feel inadequate like what Aurora did, due to the fact that Elijah compelled her to do that. And although we don't actually get to see much from Klaus after he actually left Southern France throughout the entirety of the 11th century, but we do actually see just how dark and violent and brutal Klaus actually became during the Brotherhood of the Five incident. What I'm referring to is when the very first Brotherhood of the Five actually used the daggers on the originals.
Ask him. Only he cannot answer because I have ripped out his tongue, along with the rest of them.
Nick, I had no idea.
But you should have. Your only family was nearly wiped out because of your stupidity. What did he promise you?
Nothing. Nothing.
He would not have made a move unless he knew you were vulnerable. You trusted him. Over me! What did he promise you?
Nothing, Nick, I swear.
What did he promise you? Tell me, Rebecca!
And this is basically the Klaus that we know of today. Although yes, Klaus was already violent, as heavily implied by just how violent he actually got in this scene, but the whole issue of him consistently stabbing his siblings and leaving them in a box due to the fact that he doesn't completely trust them all started here. As in, this was the very first time he actually daggered one of his siblings, or at least left one of his siblings still daggered, which was Finn. So everything that really caused Klaus to become what he actually became and became the most feared vampire in the history of, well, the verse, all happened within the space of about 150 years. And it just kept growing, kept getting worse and worse and worse over the centuries, due to the underlying factor of Michael trying to kill him, and, well, specifically trying to kill him, and obviously his siblings consistently betraying him, and also due to the fact that even though he has his siblings around him and they all love him dearly, Klaus still believes that he's actually alone in the world because he's the only hybrid. He's the only person that Michael is trying to chase, which is why Klaus is trying to solve both of those problems by breaking the hybrid curse. Breaking the hybrid curse allows him to create more people like him, hybrids. Breaking the hybrid curse also allowed him to be on par, if not stronger than Michael. That boost his strength would have actually allowed him to get rid of Michael. Also, Klaus wanted to be feared. It wasn't like they just happened to fear him due to certain things that he does. No, Klaus did them for specific reasons because he wants everyone to fear him, whether it be his siblings or anyone that he crosses paths with. This is primarily due to his family survivals, and more specifically, his survival. And if an enemy decided to actually try to rise up against Klaus, you know just by precedent what exactly would happen to you if you do so. Seeing as we've actually gone through the root cause of why exactly Klaus became what he became, now we're actually going to go through what exactly did Klaus do to actually earn the moniker the Great Evil. The things that Klaus did were just hilariously bad, as in it was literally mythical. But before I actually go through Klaus' most diabolical scenes, let me know in the comments below what scene actually made you believe that, yeah, this guy is way too evil. But anyways, our first stop is a few things that Klaus actually did, but a lot of people tend to miss. And this was stated in the season finale of the originals during the trial scene.
Remember him? 1694. His wife accused Rebecca of witchcraft. So you turned him and then compelled him to drain his wife dry. Or this man, who's a simple farmer. In 1745, he made the mistake of owning land that you wanted. You could have easily taken it. Instead, you turned him and then made him burn his entire village to the ground. Or this woman, 1891. Her mother had pneumonia, coughed all through the night. You got annoyed. So you turned them both and made her watch as you burned her mother.
And that's not even all. Klaus, along with Cord, killed 60 people and proceeded to play chess, wiped out Catherine's entire village, as in everyone that she has ever known, loved, care about. Bear in mind, this is in the 15th century, so everyone that you know of will exist within your immediate area. So everyone that Catherine has met, grew up with, seen on a daily basis, all of them got wiped out just because Catherine had the audacity of wanting to live. And Klaus wiped out all of them. He did a similar massacre with his hybrids just because the hybrids had the audacity of wanting freedom, or, well, rebel against him, even though he gave them every single reason to actually do that. So he wiped out all 12 of them, and he couldn't find Tyler, so he killed his mom instead. And again, that's not all. Klaus also, just for the sole reason of Davina not wanting to join him, or at least not wanting to be subdued by him, he decided to poison both her and her boyfriend. Bear in mind, they were both children, as in 16. And they weren't the only 16-year-olds that Klaus tried to kill. Klaus also tried to burn down Jeremy and Elena in their house. And Jeremy at this point in time is still only 16. Although yes, he had a justified motive of them actually killing Cole, but still, that is an insane reaction. He was going to burn down the house with both of them inside. Either way, it's either they come out and he kills them, or they just stay in there and burn to death. And yet again, that's not all. He threw Rebecca's boyfriend off of a balcony just for disrespecting him. He compelled Isabel to unalive herself in front of Elena, who is her daughter, by the way. Haley wanted to get rid of the baby because, well, she figured out that one, Klaus doesn't want the baby, and two, raising a baby that's related to Klaus in any way is a death sentence. So she tried to get rid of the baby. And guess what Klaus did after finding out? He immediately tried to kill Haley, who is still pregnant with said baby that he's trying to keep alive. How does that make any sense in his brain? Haley tried to kill the baby, so he decided to try to kill Haley, who is still pregnant with said baby. Not to mention, he keeps coffins on standby, specifically for his siblings, just in case they do something stupid. And he just ultimately daggers them and stuck them in said coffin for however long he decides to. And finally, placing a curse on the mother of his own child. But yeah, this ain't even all the things that he actually did. The Great Evil, he earned that nickname. But yeah, if you want to see me rip to shreds Stephen's character, then click on the video that's on the screen now. And the playlist for my T video takes is in the description. And if you like the video, then feel free to like and subscribe for more.